two things on this earth that make him happy: a clean house and sex. Oh, lucky me. He said, well, if you don't start taking care of my needs, I guess I'm going to have to get a girlfriend. I said, oh, dear Lord, say it's not so. I said, well, make sure that she's stout and that she can mow, because I need some help. All right, y'all make me think of my husband. Let me tell you about him. Because he's got a 401k. And, yeah. Okay, we met at the University of Tennessee. When I hear a man say, go Vols, I think, oh my Lord, did I make out with him in the 80s? I did horrible things in the 80s. But my husband and I met, and I was so cute. And I was little, I had on little britches, and my thyroid was functioning, and I felt good. And he was so enthralled with me and so in love with me and pursued me and bought me presents and vacuumed out my car and did all kinds of things for me. And we celebrated our 30th wedding anniversary this year. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. And now, I truly believe he would not pull me out of a burning vehicle. All right, let me tell y'all about him. So, my husband is a very type A, anal retentive, overachiever. And everything has had to be perfect all of his life. And he has made perfect grades, and he's done everything perfect and everything right. And he's very competitive. He will rip your throat out. We've tried to play cards socially with other couples, and I don't listen and pay attention and play a, funky card, and then he cusses me, and I'm like, I was just gonna drink a Diet Coke and fellowship. That's what I'm doing. He ran the Burger King when he was 15 years old in Morristown, Tennessee. They gave him a key. He played football on Friday night, and then we get up and make biscuits starting at 4 in the morning at the Burger King, honey. That's how anal retentive. And so then what did he do? He married me. And I am an underachiever. And I haven't done much right. And, but I'm fun. He is very introverted, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I did not know how truly blank he was until all these children, 3 children, grew up and walked off and left me with him. He does not chat. He does not chat. And he's got a big job. He's got a big job, and he has to talk all day and be in meetings and on the phone. And men only have so many words they use in a day. That is science. My husband uses all his words up during the day at work, and then comes home at night and stares into space. And I need people. I just stand in the kitchen and talk to myself. He works for a large manufactured housing company, the largest in the United States, and he's worked for them for over 25 years. And he's traveled with them Monday through Thursday or Tuesday through Friday, and that has worked for us. It really has. Me and these kids had a ball without him. He'd come on the weekends, come home, and really put a kink in things. But so during this pandemic, he could not travel. I know. He had to make an office in our home. And he would come out every morning and give me this huge list of things that he thought I should be doing. Hard things. Hard things. Things like paint the hallway or something like that. And I said, excuse me, but I stay in my gown until the 3rd hour of the Today Show. I said, you don't know me, do you? He would come in at lunchtime in the kitchen and not make eye contact with me and come and stand next to me and grab one of my breasts and hold it. And he'd say, what's for lunch? And I'd say, chicken salad? No, I love him. I love him. I just don't want to be with him. You know. No, he has been a wonderful provider, and he's worked like a dog for us and done without so that we could have. But all that money going out and taking care of a family all those years, that's hard on a man. It's hard on a man. It's made him a real butthole. So, around Knoxville, I try to do things for me and him to do together, and I bought him tickets to go see Def Leppard and Journey. Oh, y'all, going to a concert is very different when you're 54. I went to school at UT, and I used to go to all the concerts. I saw Tina Turner, John Cougar Mellencamp, Rod Stewart, I don't know where I got the money. But in the 80s, honey, I went. Nick, I was so cute. I had on little bitty britches. My thyroid was functioning. I didn't care about food. I'd eat a half a can of tuna and I'd be like, I'm full. But anyway, so I got us tickets, and my husband, I thought, we're going to have a date night. And he goes, I can't get there in time to go out to eat. I'll meet you at the concert. So he had bought a tall boy and an egg salad sandwich at the gas station. I know, I had to smell that all night. So anyway, I was hungry, and everybody at that concert was my age or older. And everybody's worried about the snack bar. And I was too. Journey was already on stage. Nobody cared. Everybody was at the snack bar. But anyway, Little Journey, we all go to watch Little Journey. Journey does not have Little Steve Perry anymore because he had to get a hip replacement. So and I loved him. They've hired this little bitty man who is yummy, and he's taking care of himself, and he's got little bitty britches on, and he hadn't eaten white flour and sugar, and I don't think he's done dope, and I don't think he's slept with nasty women. So he's hopping and doing and squatting and doing, and all the old boys in the back look sick and bloated, and they're going. But anyway, they were good, and we watched them. Then little Def Leppard came out. Have y'all seen Def Leppard? Still could sing like nobody's business. But that little man came out. Oh, that little man came out. And his little hair was down to here, and you could see through it. And I took one look at him, and I thought, thyroid. Because I've got it too. My hair's thinning too. And that little bitty thing's legs were that big. I've never seen legs that tiny on a man. frail, and he propped it up on a little, and he'd do. And then I noticed there was a hump right here, and I thought, what's that hump? Oh, hernia. He's got a hernia. And I know because I've had one, and he hadn't had time to get a mesh put in it. I've got a mesh. Anyway, he started singing, "Put Some Sugar on It." And my very quiet, introverted husband stood up and then sat back down. We had a ball. They were wonderful. And then we walked out of Thompson Bowling Arena, and everybody was walking like this. Because everybody's got plantar fasciitis. I've had it. Yeah. Inflammation in our feet. Y'all know what causes that? White flour and sugar. My husband does not spend money and does not believe in anybody being comfortable. Really. He does not believe in luxury. He believes in suffering. And this is one thing that he strongly believes in. He believes in all of our family driving cars until the wheels fall off in the interstate. He finds joy having to come get somebody. All my children have driven old cars that look like they're about to fall apart. This is what he does for me. He'll buy me a car about a year old, pay cash for it, and then make me drive it the rest of my life. I put my foot down last year because I was driving a 2009 white Honda Pilot. If you don't know what that model looks like, it looks like I was delivering Lay's potato chips. And I never felt pretty in it. I really did. It had over 235,000 miles on it. And the lights started flashing at it saying, "Get out, Leanne. Get out." He drives a 2007 Tahoe, and the T and the A are missing. And if I was home tomorrow, we would be pulling up in that big Tahoe to the Baptist church in the doorway. And when church is over, my husband wants out of there and doesn't want to talk to anybody. And see, that's my time to fellowship. And he drives that big old Tahoe up to the front door of the Baptist church and goes, and he always says, "You're the last one in the parking lot." I said, "There's going to be a lot of people at my funeral." I've built relationships with people. He goes, "Okay, fine. I'll have to have mine in a yogurt shop." She's called me today and said, "Mom, are you okay? How did your show go last night?" And I go, "Good." So the day before, she goes, "Did you make it to Huntsville?" I said, "Yes, baby. Thank you. Tell your daddy." Curtis, he was so in love with me, honey. Stalked me, bought me presents, did all that. We will be married 29 years. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I truly believe that he would not pull me out of a burning vehicle. Okay, here's something that's different. Now that they're having little children, so different than when I had mine. There was a book that I read in and out, and I bet a bunch of y'all that are my age read this one too. What to Expect When You're Expecting. Yeah, it was a hateful book. It was a hateful book, but it was true. And they would say things to you like, "You're going to have a hemorrhoid in the 7th month on the 4th day." at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And you'll be like, it's 2 o'clock. Back then, everybody was terrified about food allergies, and that was a big thing that they stressed, and our pediatricians. And I remember having this whole big chart in my kitchen on the wall that told me, you know, my boy, I wouldn't let him have sweet potatoes until August after I had cleared the squash in July. You know, that just crazy. And I did perfect with him. The second one came along, did okay with her, really did. That third one came along. We were at the McDonald's. I had two playing one in the balls and one up in a tube. And that my baby child did not have any teeth yet. She was in a high chair, and I threw a cheeseburger onto her high chair, and she gummed it down. And a woman came over the intercom and said, "Excuse me, ma'am, but your baby has pooped in the tube." So then I would have to go up in the tube, get my baby, pull my baby down through the tube. Do y'all remember playing in the balls? My children loved the balls. And Lord, we had a ball going. Me and my friends would go to anywhere that they had a bunch of balls and tubes, and little children would be playing in a dirty diaper and swim by on top of the balls. And then like a chicken nugget, they're going through. You think about all this with COVID. There's no way they'd let any of that happen. Good night. You think of Chuck E. Cheese? That was a free-for-all. Mine loved it. Okay. Let me tell y'all this. Baby food has changed, and I didn't know this. When I was having my baby, she had little baby food jars. They still got maybe 2 of those on the grocery store thing. Now it's in pouches. Everything's in pouches, and I don't think they're worried about food allergies. My grandbaby had a pouch that had turmeric, cashews, and squash in it, all squished together. And now they don't feed babies with spoons. They just squirt that pouch in their mouth. Everything's on the go. They just squirt and go, squirt and go. And I'm worried about it. I really am. I think there's going to be a whole generation that doesn't know how to use utensils. Okay, the 5 love languages. All right. Me and Chuck Morgan in Sunday school class went on a retreat, and they talked to us about the 5 love languages. You know, and it's written by little Gary Chapman, who is a doll and tiny and does, that man's probably getting in his 90s, and he does sit-ups every day. And that little thing, and I got to meet him later. He was a doll. But anyway, the 5 love languages, if you don't know about that, you've got to get it. There was a 5 love languages for your marriage, and then there's one for your children. And you need to get that. Everybody's got a love language. And you take the test. You got to read the book and take the test. Well, you don't read the book. I didn't. But you can take the test. I like to read books about Hollywood murder. So, anyway, you take the test, and then you can, and your husband takes the test, and you find out what his love language is, and he finds out what your love language is. And if you find that out, then you can feed them their love language. And then, so I can feed Chuck Morgan his love language, and then his love tank feels full. If I don't, he could go to work and be at a water fountain, and some whore comes up to him and starts feeding him his love language, and then he feels a tingle, and then Satan swoops in. So these are the 5 love languages. Quality time. If you may know somebody that just wants you to sit on the couch and watch ESPN with them. Something like that. Then there's gifts. That's my sister's love language. It doesn't have to be something expensive. Just so you thought of her, if you buy her a card and a rose from the grocery store, she'll bawl her eyes out. And then there's Words of affirmation, that's mine. But, oh, physical touch. Physical touch, which I know every woman in here is like, that's my husband. Physical touch. But it's not that kind of physical touch. We're talking about the physical, when you know people that just want to hug you and squeeze on you and all that all the time. That's their love language, is physical touch. But women think, oh, that's my husband's, and he's on me like a duck on a June bug. But that's not the... All right, and then there's words of affirmation. That's mine. So all Chuck Morgan has to do is say, you look beautiful tonight. You are a good mama. That Trisha Yearwood's chicken piccata is to die for. And then my love tank feels full, and then I'm willing to do something vulgar with him. And then he gives me money to get my hair highlighted. See? It works out, It's God's way. And then my husband's is acts of service. So for him to feel loved, I have to go in the garage and build a set of shelves.